Right now, artificial intelligence is expanding into nearly every sector of the global economy, bringing a wave of anxiety about the future of human work. But to understand where we are actually going, we have to look backward. For the vast majority of human history, the global economy operated under a structural limitation that was simply accepted as a fact of nature. In early agrarian and hunter-gatherer societies, the ultimate ceiling for economic productivity was raw muscle. If a community wanted to harvest more crops or clear more land, they needed brute physical strength to wield the tools. Because productivity depended directly on heavy lifting, societies naturally built labor structures, markets, and institutions that favored men. This dynamic was a strict technological limitation. The design of early tools demanded high torque and physical leverage that naturally skewed the labor pool toward those with the most physical strength. Confined by the limits of human biology, early economies were structurally forced to sideline half of their available human capital. They operated far below their true potential because the tools of the time offered no other choice. That ceiling cracked during the Industrial Revolution. Steam power and mechanized factories substituted machinery for human sweat, drastically reducing the physical requirements of production. Decades later, World War II acted as a massive, unintended stress test for this evolving labor force. Millions of working-age men were abruptly pulled from the domestic economy and sent to the front lines. Women stepped onto the factory floors and successfully ran heavy industry, mass-producing aircraft and munitions. They demonstrated that productive economic participation was governed by opportunity and education, not gender. The shift accelerated as computers and telecommunications networks came online. Data and analytical skill replaced physical goods as the primary resources of the global economy. The subsequent leap to mobile devices, digital convergence, and remote networks erased nearly all remaining physical and geographic constraints on labor. Over centuries, the progression of technology, from the crude wooden shovel to the smartphone, systematically reduced the historical advantage of physical strength. Modern economists track this shift using a concept called human capital. It is the collective skills, knowledge, and experience of a population, and it is the primary driver of modern growth. Economist Gary S. Becker formalized this theory, demonstrating that investing in people, regardless of their background, yields the highest possible economic output for a society. This theory has been tested in the real world through microfinance programs. By directing small loans specifically to female entrepreneurs, these initiatives have repeatedly catalyzed struggling local economies. This World Bank data shows a clear relationship between female education access and GDP growth. When educational barriers for women are removed, GDP climbs. This growth ripples outward. As economies scale, household income and health metrics improve alongside national growth. Yet, significant friction remains. Wage disparities, unequal access to leadership roles, and persistent cultural traditions continue to restrict global economic output. With the physical and technological barriers of the past largely removed, lingering restrictions on inclusion function as an artificial ceiling on productivity. In a global economy, failing to utilize half of the talent pool is no longer a matter of tradition. It is a matter of economic efficiency. Now, artificial intelligence is automating routine cognitive tasks and data processing, doing for the mind what the steam engine did for physical lifting. When machines handle both the heavy lifting and the routine thinking, what human skills actually retain economic value? The traits that now command a premium are creativity, emotional intelligence, critical thinking, and complex collaboration. These high-value capabilities have zero connection to physical strength. They are distributed equally across all individuals. Because AI demands these specific, uniquely human capabilities to function effectively, societies can no longer afford to leave any portion of their talent pool undeveloped. Female economic empowerment has historically been discussed as a matter of social fairness or cultural progress. The data tells a different story. In the age of AI, closing the gender gap is a cold, macroeconomic necessity for any nation that wants to remain competitive. The knowledge-driven economy will belong to the societies that fully utilize 100% of their human capital. Those clinging to the constraints of the past will simply be left behind.